Hey, what's going on everyone? Bring your friends here for a build guide on my hybrid crit freezing pulse triple curse Inquisitor. There was two things that conflicted with each other when making the build. The first was that I wanted blasphemy to keep my curses up at all times during boss fights, in which doing so meant reserving nearly all of my mana. And the other one being that I wanted to use mind over matter, but in order to take it required a lot of unreserved mana to sustain the damage that would be taken away when I was taking damage. So I got around both problems by going Eldritch Battery and Ghost Reaver to sustain the energy shield, for which I was now using as mana to cast all of my abilities while reserving nearly all of my mana for my two curses and a Herald Gem in the process. In terms of sustaining my energy shield, I took a combination of things such as Warlord's Mark, Doriani's Catalyst, Doriani's Invitation, and Voidbringer, which is essentially canceling itself out of the increased cost of my spells for the energy shield gained on kill. When it comes to sustaining my life pool, it's a combination of Fortify and a 3-link with Shield Charge and faster attacks, Enfeeble and a low level cast when damage taken setup, Rumi's Concoction, which is enhanced by gifts from above, granting 5% extra block while on consecrated ground, which is also giving me 6% of my max life per second, in turn giving me a 48% chance to block attacks and a 37% chance to block spells. And last but not least, 2 life flasks, one with a heal over time, and the other with instant recovery for if you're taking a big random spike of damage. When it comes to damage, my Freezing Pulse is in a 6-link with Ice Spite, Spell Echo, faster casting, increased critical damage, and increased critical chance gems. Unbuffed in town, my damage is 108k DPS, and fully buffed with max charges and everything popped, it's currently at 428k damage, which is obviously more than enough to perma-freeze almost anything, not to mention my crit is pretty high at the moment with 74% chance to crit. So together that's enough to sustain your energy shield at all times to let mind over matter do its job. And also you can argue that you can technically get rid of faster casting and Spell Echo for more damage to freeze higher end mobs and bosses on a single hit, which is technically true, but I've been able to freeze currently up to level 12 bosses, so I'm in the process of just getting other damage gems to try out, so I'm just pretty much just being lazy. I'll have to make an update video when I come back and see how high I can actually take this setup. In terms of gear, you're essentially aiming towards mostly ES gear with life. I'm using Windscreen boots for triple curse, Doriani's Catalyst and belt for the Ellie and Cold Leech, Gifts from Above ring for damage, global crit, Concentrate on crit, which is good all around item for the build, the Halcyon amulet for increased cold damage and increased damage to frozen targets, which obviously is good for this particular build. Currently rocking just a plain Jane 6-link with a crappy helm and offering that's not really worth mentioning, although the other offering I'm probably going to get either the Taming or I think just some ring that just gives you increased damage to cold. It's the one that you use to make the Taming. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But overall the build clears well, freezes most bosses and pretty much any mob you can possibly think of. Just literally just one-shots everything other than bosses in terms of mobs. And it works out really well just because I can literally self-sustain at all times when it comes to mobs and or bosses just because of the blasphemy curse. So works out really well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. I'll also link my gear and a build guide for anyone curious about running it. This is Bring Your Friends, signing out.